China-Japan relations or Sino-Japanese relations are the international relations between China and Japan. The countries are geographically separated by the East China Sea. Japan has been strongly influenced throughout history by the East, particularly Eastern China, through the gradual process of Sinicization with its language, architecture, culture, religion, philosophy, and law, when it opened trade relations with the West, particularly Western Europe. In the mid-19th century, Japan plunged itself through an active process of Europeanization during the Meiji Restoration in 1868, adopting the customs of Europe through the process of modernization, and began viewing China as an antiquated civilization, unable to defend itself against Western forces in part due to the First and Second Opium Wars along with the Eight-Nation Alliance's involvement in suppressing the Boxer Rebellion. According to the Chinese government, the relationship between China and Japan has been strained at times by Japan's refusal to acknowledge its wartime past to the satisfaction of China. However, according to the Japanese government, the expansion of People's Liberation Army and its assertive actions have been damaging the bilateral relation. Revisionist comments made by prominent Japanese officials in some Japanese history textbooks regarding the 1937 Nanking Massacre have been a focus of particular controversy. Sino-Japanese relations warmed considerably after Shinzo Abe became the Prime Minister of Japan in September 2006, and a joint historical study conducted by China and Japan released a report in 2010 which pointed toward a new consensus on the issue of Japanese war crimes. The Senkaku Islands dispute also resulted in a number of hostile encounters in the East China Sea, heated rhetoric, and riots in the People's Republic of China. China's and Japan's economies are respectively the world's second and third largest economies by nominal GDP. Also, China's and Japan's economies are the world's first and fourth largest economies by GDP PPP. In 2008, China-Japan trade grew to $266.4 billion, a rise of 12.5% on 2007, making China and Japan the top two-way trading partners. China was also the biggest destination for Japanese exports in 2009. Since the end of World War II, Sino-Japanese relations are still mired in tension, which risks the breakout of a conflict in Asia. The enmity between these two countries emanated from the history of the Japanese War and the imperialism and maritime disputes in the East China Sea. There has been increasingly large mutual dislike, hatred, and hostility between Japanese and Chinese people in recent years. According to a 2014 BBC World Service poll, 3% of Japanese people view China's influence positively, with 73% expressing a negative view, the most negative perception of China in the world, while 5% of Chinese people view Japanese influence positively, with 90% expressing a negative view, the most negative perception of Japan in the world. A 2014 survey conducted by the Pew Research Center showed 85% of Japanese were concerned that territorial disputes between China and neighboring countries could lead to a military conflict. Despite the conflicts, China and Japan have been steadily improving their relationships, with both sides remarking that they will be focusing on developing healthy ties, signaling towards a new start. Both countries have started to cooperate in numerous areas, including boosting global trade and Asia's economic activities, working hand in hand on One Belt One Road initiative, setting up maritime and air contact system for better communication, as well as holding several high-level meetings and consultations. In 2018, the two countries pledged to further deepen ties and shares a common ground on the trade war, with Shinzo Abe saying that Japan-China relations have been moving in the direction of great improvement. President Sun Yat-sen, Chairman Mao Zedong, leaders of the two countries China and Japan are geographically separated only by a relatively narrow stretch of ocean. China has strongly influenced Japan with its writing system, architecture, culture, religion, philosophy, and law, when Western countries forced Japan to open trading in the mid-19th century. Japan moved towards modernization, viewing China as an antiquated civilization, unable to defend itself against Western forces in part due to the First and Second Opium Wars along with the Eight-Nation Alliance's involvement in suppressing the Boxer Rebellion. Japan's long chain of invasions and war crimes in China between 1894 and 1945 as well as modern Japan's attitude towards its past are major issues affecting current Sino-Japanese relations. After the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949, relations with Japan changed from hostility and an absence of contact to cordiality and extremely close cooperation in many fields. Japan